Hello, Trixie.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm blessed, to say the most. Um, Now, where do I start? Now, first of all, I want to know what what made you decide to open a vintage store. Were you
W-
looking for vintage stuff and couldn't find it and decided to open it up yourself?
Yeah. I've always liked old things. Um, and it was about 4 or 5 years ago. My partner John Carter, his mom, we had to clean out her house, and she had so many great things that it was just, what do you do with it?
Hmm.
So we went through the things and took heirloom type things and keep them and cherish them. And then some of the other things we opened an online shop through Etsy called Vintage Trixie, and we were trying to relocate these items and find them new homes. And it turned out that most of the things that people were looking for were not beautiful glasses and things like that. They kind of wanted some funky kinds of things. And so then we just started going out and picking, and we call it picking, or trolling. It sounds horrible.
Okay. Okay.
But we like to go out, and it's one of the things we like to do together is find treasures and that kind of stuff. Um, so we were stocking our Etsy store. Right now we've got I think 920 items in the online part of it. Um,
Okay.
then about a year ago, you know, John got a pretty bad back, and he couldn't keep doing the kinds of work he was doing. So we started thinking about opening a shop because my garage was full, the storage unit was full, his house was full. So we thought, well, why not open up a shop, and maybe we can, we'll still continue with the online stuff, and then maybe, people come in and see us, and that's how we opened up last year.
Wow, I didn't know you was only open for a year. I thought you'd been there. See, even your store looks vintage. I thought you'd been there. I
Well,
mean,
we did a lot of
not knocking that, but that's a good thing.
yeah,
I think
we
it fits right in.
well, we
Go
did a
ahead.
lot of work to the inside of it. We put up a lot of pallet wood, and we used reclaimed wood from an old greenhouse for the shelving with pipes, and of course we furnished it with used and antique furniture
Hmm.
and rugs and stuff. So
I just love that, and you don't find antique shops anymore, hardly ever. They've got replaced with the home at the home.
yeah,
Tuesday mornings, you got this modern vintage type thing going on where it's hard to find antique shops. I know when I would go to Jersey into New York and we traveled on the 13th, you used to be able to find some antique shops on that road, but
right.
even now, they're becoming scarce. So
Well, it's the you can only it depends on the area. So for a long time in Chesapeake, the Hoppin Antique area was in Deep Creek, down Military Highway there,
mhm.
and those shops. There's one stronghold left, and now there's a quite a few vintage antique shops on Battlefield.
Okay.
So it's kind of shifted just a little bit. Um, and a lot of people are thrifting, so they're
Mhm.
interested, and I think that has to do with, being concerned with, well, a couple of things: the environment, instead of
Mhm.
becoming so wasteful, recycling, products, not just our bottles and our water bottles and things like that, but recycling other things as well. Like for instance, I just started recycling Barbie dolls into jewelry.
Really? Are
Yeah,
you serious?
I'm serious.
Oh, so what are you kind of bending the Barbie around your wrist for a bracelet, or that's
Uh,
interesting.
no,
I
just
have to come in and
hands
see
and
how you do that.
hands and feet. just, just, just hands and feet.
Just
And
hands and feet.
surprisingly, yeah, 'cause people will put the earrings on and they're pretty, and then nobody
Uh-huh.
really notices until they look close, and then it's a conversation to be had.
I can bet it is. It's kind of. The person would think you got a dark side, don't you, Trixie?
Little bit. I have a past. The well, I should clarify this. I'm by profession I'm a biologist.
Oh
I teach
wow.
I teach biology full time at Tidewater Community College. So
Okay. So I could see the hands and the feet thing. Watch out for your Barbie's hands and feet.
yeah. Well, I must admit that John sat there and looked at me like, "What are you doing?" And then I sold 4 pairs of earrings, and then he was like, "Okay, let's get you more Barbie." So
Wow. So they don't really notice it until they look closely at it, and then they realize it's a hand or a
yeah,
foot.
right, right.
That is so twisted. Are you kidding me? That's a first. I have to see these earrings. I have to get a
Yes,
picture of
yes.
them and at least put them up on my website because I know so many people would want to see them. And they're so, especially with Halloween coming up. Oh my gosh, you better find you a whole bunch of Barbie because we got a lot of twisted folks out there.
Well, there's we actively try to stock creepy dolls.
Oh, you do.
Yeah. Um there's something about creepy dolls that some people really like. Some people don't like them at all. And
Yeah, I will be one.
I have a hard time keeping creepy dolls in stock. So,
Really?
yeah. Yeah, but we also take now I don't want everybody to think that I'm totally twisted, but
Okay.
we also recycle we make wind chimes out of spoons
Okay. That
and
sounds
different
nice.
kinds of utensils.
Mhm.
Um, today I was making a bunch of different little fairy gardens
Oh,
where
okay.
yeah, and like little fairy garden furniture and things like
You're
that.
you're getting lighter. Okay.
Yeah.
you're
Yeah,
you're
I should
coming
probably
over to coming to the light.
I probably shouldn't have started with the heavy there.
It's okay.
But
I mean, it sells.
yeah, well, we have a very large jewelry section of
Mhm.
vintage jewelry, and I often make jewelry out of vintage pieces like keys and locks and watches and things like that. But we also just have vintage brooches and uh, like earrings and things like that. So that's a big part of our day is jewelry. So
Wow. Now, do you still have the Etsy site? Is the Etsy site still up?
I do have the Etsy site still up. Yeah.
So what is it? It's Etsy.com/vintage Trixie.
It's etsy.com/shop/vintage Trixie.
Okay. So I hope you guys got that. It's Etsy.com shop/vintage Trixie.
Right.
That's really good. And then you have the store. Now, do you ship? I mean,
Oh yeah.
outside of
Yeah.
okay, so that's where they order on Etsy, you ship out the different
Yeah.
things. That's good. That's good because my audience is everywhere.
Yeah. I'm well known at the post office.
Yes, yes. No, that's that's where we actually met face to face was at the post
Right.
office, and you were shipping some stuff out there, but I wasn't sure, so I didn't really want to say because I didn't know you had an Etsy site. I
Oh
didn't
yeah.
know
Yeah.
that you had an Etsy. So So you must be pretty busy um, with being a college professor,
Yep.
instructor, and then running the shop, and you're just like a superwoman. We need to get you a shield and one of capes to go back and forth. So, are you cutting open people in biology? Are you doing the
No, I
cutting?
don't. No, no, I don't do that. No,
Okay.
I'm animals. My background is prior to starting here. I've been here for I'm starting my 16th year. But before that, I
Okay.
was a zookeeper. And,
Wow.
and I did that for about 10 years. And I still go back to the zoo. I do guest lecture series there on animal behavior. And I guess the most notable one is the Valentine's Day event, where they get a tour. The participants get a tour, and then they get hors d'oeuvres and a bottle of wine, and then a little bit of a risque presentation on animal reproduction.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, what a fascinating woman. I've never I've never known anyone that was a zookeeper. I'm,
Oh yeah.
you're the first zookeeper I've met female. Well, I haven't met male or female, but usually I would always think zookeepers would be male for some reason. I don't know why. But I would think zookeepers would be male, but you are a female zookeeper. So how was that? What does a zookeeper do? Because I don't really know. I'm pretty sure I can Google it, but I'm going to ask you. That's what I'm gonna ask.
A zookeeper is in charge of certain groups of animals. So when I was a zookeeper and I started out, I was working with reptiles and small animals, and my specialty was in primates.
Was it who?
Primates,
And
monkeys.
okay.
Yeah. And
Wow.
so you take care of them every day and clean up and feed them and give them, medical attention as well as environmental enrichment. And then a large part of a zookeeper's day is to educate the public about the animals and their conservation. Because really the only justification of having a zoo is to educate
Mm-hmm.
and try to convey to people, why it's important to recycle, why it's important to, not poach and do all kinds of things like that. And so
But they
there
do
was,
it anyway.
oh yeah,
They
they do,
do it
they do,
anyway. They do
yeah.
it anyway for the riches. I have to tell you, snakes is very interesting. Last week I went to see JB Rattles. He did a show at the library,
Okay.
and he has all types of snakes, from big ones to poisonous ones, and he does an educational thing on them and brings them out, and they can hold them and and do things,
Interesting.
yeah, that I wouldn't, I wouldn't do, but I, took pictures and things of that sort. And the thing about, the snakes, he had told me about the black snake, which is common here in
Mhm.
Virginia. And I remember I had saw one in my backyard about 2 years ago. I haven't seen one since then. But he was just kind of moving through, and I called the animal hotline. snake, snake in my yard. And he said, what color is it? And I told him it was black. Oh, don't worry about it. You probably got a rabbit or a rat. Or a rat!
Yeah.
I didn't
No.
mind the bunny.
Well, they're good to have around, unless they're venomous, and then you might be a little leery. I actually have a pet snake named Kellogg, the corn snake.
Okay.
She's
All
she's
right.
well, I use her during the summer. I do a nature camp for kids called Camp Osprey, and
Wow.
it's tell.
What is it that you don't? When do you have time to even? Who runs the store? Because you can't possibly be running the
Oh,
store and doing all this.
that's a family business. So John,
Oh, okay,
he'll be
okay.
there, or we'll make one of the kids go in there. We
Oh,
have three boys that are 18, 18, and 19.